So the parents want to see these North Carolina schools continue to spank their kids when they're at school, because parents, that's less work that the parents need to do if the school's beating the crap out of them. But anyways, the school's going to discontinue spanking them, and some of these parents are very upset about it. So last year, 2 of North Carolina's counties allowed schools to use corporal punishment, physical pain, as a disciplinary measure. Okay, in case you didn't know what that was. So 2 counties in North Carolina allowed corporal punishment on students. But as of this week, that number is down to 1. Okay, at a Tuesday meeting of the Robeson County Board of Education, board members voted narrowly 6-5 to end the practice of corporal punishment or spanking in the schools. More than 100 miles west is Graham County in the mountains of North Carolina. It's the only county continuing to practice intentional infliction of physical pain upon the body of a student as a disciplinary measure, quote. I guess that's the technical jargon of spanking the shit out of the kid at school. It's intentional infliction of physical pain to get them to behave. School corporal punishment is actually illegal in 19 states. Did you guys know that? 19 states. It's very hard to find, though. No one's really doing it. This may be the last county in all of the U.S. that's doing it. I would love to do a little bit more research and find out, hey, I know what I'll do. I'll go undercover. JONESY undercover on a Weird AF News assignment, and I'll find what schools are spanking their kids. Hey, I might even enjoy it. So the states that still have corporal punishment on the books are Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, of course Florida. But I don't think they're spanking the kids in Florida, because that would straighten out these adults. Okay. Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming. Man. Now, some of the pain that they inflict is happens to be done by a paddle. That's kind of common in these schools. In case you were wondering, well, how does it happen? What do they spank my kids? What do they go? Lick the finger and slap them on the ass? No, they use a paddle. Typically, I think. My mother tells me stories about her getting hit with paddles by nuns. She went to like a very strict Catholic school. Oh God, the poor woman. I just wanted to hug her after she told me that story. Okay, so how the school strikes the student, by the way, you'll be happy to know, it's not outlined in state law. Okay, so however they want to do it, I guess that's up to the school. State statute includes guidelines and limitations on corporal punishment. Here are those guidelines. It cannot be administered in a classroom with other students present. So if you're going to beat the crap out of them, you got to do it off-site, not off-site, but in a separate room. Only an agent of the state can administer corporal punishment. That means a teacher, a principal, or an assistant principal. And must do so in the presence of another agent of the state. The school must notify the student's parents that corporal punishment has been administered, and the person who administered the punishment must provide a written explanation of why and name the witnesses present. Wow, it's like a big old trial. Man. The school must keep a record of each instance of corporal punishment. Excessive force or force that causes injury to the student that requires medical attention beyond simple first aid is prohibited. Beyond simple first aid? Now it's just a little blood, a couple band-aids, that's simple first aid. No need for further medical attention. Just we're allowed to hit you until you bleed a little bit. Okay, that's what they're saying here. We're allowed to inflict several bruises. We keep the bruises under 10 and it's okay. If the parents don't want the school to inflict physical pain, then they must fill out a form at the beginning of the school year. If that form is not completed, then the school is allowed to hit the student. Man, crazy. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about corporal punishment, but I leave it up to you weirdos. I don't have any kids, but I do have an opinion on whether or not they should be smacked a little bit. I think you know what that opinion is. I don't think the teachers should be doing it, but although in a world where the parents aren't hitting the kids, I'm okay with anybody else stepping up to the plate and hitting the kids, because these kids have attitude, man, and they need to be spanked a little bit. They need a paddle to the backside just to keep them in check a little bit. Look their egos are too big, too big. The egos are too big. They think everybody wants to see pictures of their face. They're like, my face is so interesting. It should be everywhere, and you should look at it, and you should give it likes and hearts and shit. And let me tell you something, kids. Your face sucks. No one gives a damn about your face, okay? We don't care about you. or your face. We don't care about what you're eating. We don't give a shit, alright? The problem is you think we do because you haven't been paddled yet. Now, the American Psychological Association, they have a stance on corporal punishment, and they oppose it, of course, on the grounds that decades of research show children punished with physical violence, the children learn to potentially use it against others, and that it instills hostility, rage, and a sense of powerlessness without reducing undesirable behavior. Well, that's a whole bunch of psychological speak that I don't understand. You're telling me nothing positive comes out of spanking your kids? I don't know about that. I'm gonna get some flack from my fellow weirdos on this maybe, but hey, you guys got an opinion, right? Should we be hitting the kids in school? Should we be hitting the kids at all? I say yes. And again, I mean, I'm not having any kids, so it's easy for me to make judgment, I guess. But maybe those with kids, please call into Weird AF News, 646-450-2012. It's Friday. I hope your weekend is filled with spankings.